Time is running out, brother, Shabaka warned, his voice low as the shadows grew longer over the sand. The sea may not calm Sevyn, and the ritual will test him in ways we can't predict. Will he return before the eclipse covers the sun? If he fails, the loss will weigh on you as heavily as the peaks above us. His voice was filled with dread, matching the darkening sky. Sevyn will succeed, Ruabaki declared, his voice full of hope as lightning lit up his determined face. He turned to the armored warriors, their armor shining in the dim light, each one ready. This trial is not just Sevyn's. It's our chance to face the demons beyond the mountains. Our brothers are ready, their resolve shaped by many battles. They know what is at stake. Sevyn must place the box of organs on the cube of transformation before the eclipse. We will stand with him until the end. His words lifted the group, filling the stormy air with hope and defiance. Shabaka crossed his arms, his posture tense and worry showing in his eyes. The shifting shadows on the sand matched his unease. Big brother, you're risking everything we care about, he said quietly. No Garnet warrior has ever tried such a dangerous ritual. I barely survived my own trial, and only because you helped me. Are you sure this is the right path? The question hung between them, as heavy as the storm clouds above. Sevyn has great intellect and strength, more than we realize. Trust him. Ruabaki's voice was full of pride and determination. With a broad gesture, he created a glowing portal, its colors swirling in the twilight. The portal lit up the ancient stones and cast long shadows over the rough ground. Beyond it, distant peaks stood out against the horizon, their snowy tops shining with both hope and danger. The air around the portal buzzed with energy, inviting the brothers to step into the unknown. If you place such faith in Sevyn's gifts, then so be it, Shabaka replied, his words low and crackling with urgency. But the demons multiply like wildfire, their shadows crawling across every zone, growing bolder and more terrifying with each passing hour. We'll strike at zones 2 through 5 first, carve a path through, then face whatever horrors lurk in zone 1. There, the air itself might rebel against us. We must tread lightly, for the land remembers every drop of spilled blood. With a swift, fluid motion, Shabaka drew twin swords from his harness, their blades catching the final golden rays and scattering shards of light across the sand. Enough talk. Let's carve our legend into the bones of this day. Side by side, Ruabaki and Shabaka advanced, bound by purpose and the silent promise of vengeance. Every footfall into the hush of Zone 2 vibrated with peril. The sand was strewn with jagged rocks and the relics of ancient carnage, rusted blades jutting from the earth, armor melted into grotesque shapes, patches of scorched earth blackened by forgotten spells. A spectral wind whipped over the dunes, carrying distant ghostly cries that twisted through the night. Their footsteps rang out, sharp and lonely, as if the very ground anticipated fresh violence. Ahead, a roiling mist coiled at the entrance to Zone 3, veiling whatever nightmares lay beyond. They crossed a shaky bridge over a deep chasm, its old planks creaking with every step. The drop below made them uneasy. On the other side, the thick jungle of Zone 3 closed in, with vines and branches blocking out the sky. The air was heavy with tension. Every sound, the rustling leaves, distant bird calls and fluttering wings, seemed louder, making them more alert. Halfway through the zone, an eerie silence fell. The shadowy jungle felt like it was waiting for something to happen. Both brothers felt a chill, sensing a hidden threat. They exchanged tense looks, ready to face whatever was ahead. Despite the danger, they felt a surge of excitement for the challenge to come. Disappointed, the brothers had hoped to find dangerous creatures, but instead found birds singing in the bushes. Their songs felt like a mockery of the brothers' quest. Ruabaki's eyes flashed with frustration. "Enough of this," he said sharply. "We need to change course. Zone 1 promises a real fight." The harsh landscape reminded him of the demon realm, stirring his instincts. If demons were hiding, they would go where they felt safe. Time was running out, and they couldn't waste it on empty threats, but Shabaka wouldn't give up. "Let me check the rest of Zone 3, he said firmly. "What if we find something important?" After a brief standoff, Ruabaki agreed, seeing his brother's determination. They entered the thick, dark jungle of the third zone, one of the 5 regions they had sworn to protect. Shabaka checked the traps scattered around, but each one was untouched, reminding them that their enemies were nowhere to be found. Ignoring Ruabaki's advice to check the first zone, Shabaka's curiosity led him into the harsh 4th zone. "I'll meet you at the observation point in the first zone, brother." "I won't be long," Shabaka said confidently. "All right. If you take too long, I'll go on without you," Ruabaki said, as he created a portal to the first zone, his words showing some concern for his brother's safety. Shabaka pushed through deep, biting snow, his breath turning to frost in the cold air. The freezing wind cut through his clothes, making each step harder as he grew tired. The tundra was silent, except for the wind's occasional howl. It was 80 degrees below zero, and ice crystals formed on his eyelashes and eyebrows. As he went deeper, the empty landscape stretched out with tall ice formations and a pale sky. There were no footprints or signs of life, just a heavy sense of something unseen. The mystery of the empty zones grew, filling Shabaka's mind with uneasy questions. Realizing he was taking too long, Shabaka hurried back to meet Ruabaki at the observation point. As he reached his brother, his voice was urgent and worried. "We have a crisis," he said, breathing hard. "The demons might have broken through our defenses. They could be overcoming the barriers. If they take the mountain, chaos will follow." Ruabaki frowned, tension clear on his face. "Don't be quick to say they've crossed the mountain," he warned. "They're planning something even worse, something that will chill you to the bone. If you don't believe me, come and see." They stepped into the teeth of a freezing wind, and the sight before them shattered Shabaka's composure. Across the barren wasteland, a seething tide of demons, millions strong, surged toward a twisted fortress that had erupted from the earth like a wound. Black spires clawed at the sky, lightning flickering between the ramparts, while infernal banners snapped in a storm of ash. The sheer scale made Shabaka's heart thunder in his chest, his breath tangled in his throat. How did they conjure such a monstrosity? "What nightmare are they weaving here?" he breathed, dread curling through every word. Ruabaki, the experienced strategist, shook his head, his face tense. "I can't figure out what they're planning," he said, frustration clear in his voice. "I couldn't get close enough to find out their intentions. Look above. Those winged creatures are circling us like vultures, their eyes watching. And down below, giants stand guard, ready to attack if we make one false move." A wave of helplessness threatened to drown Shabaka. The air crackled with tension. "What madness do we attempt?" he rasped, panic flickering in his eyes. "If we hesitate, their darkness will devour everything. Waiting is death. We must act before this nightmare grows beyond imagining." Ruabaki nodded, grim resolve carving lines into his face. "What you speak of is true. Surprise is our only weapon now. Gather the others. Let's summon every ounce of cunning and courage we possess. Pray that Sevyn returns swiftly, for the fate of all we love hangs by a thread." With a flick of his wrist, Ruabaki tore open a portal, a vortex of swirling iridescence and garnet that roared with possibility. As he prepared to step through and rally their allies, his mind raced through 1,000 gambits. Their hearts thudded in unison, suspense and hope sparking in every beat. This would be more than a battle for survival. If fortune favored them, this night would echo in legend for centuries to come. Sevyn plunged into the Garnet Sea and tumbled awake in a fathomless abyss where darkness wore the texture of crushed velvet and water pressed from all directions, oppressive, intimate, swallowing every sound in its endless embrace. Mr. Abgil's betrayal echoed through his bones, each pulse a phantom shard of memory, sharp words, trust splintered, love turned venomous. He spiraled downward, icy jaws gnawing at his skin, the pressure folding him in a delirious ballet. Shadows twined and danced just beyond reach, forming monstrous shapes that dissolved when he tried to focus. His body squeezed tight by the immensity of the deep. Motion became a fever dream. Yet in that suffocating gloom, the sea became a cosmic cradle, strange and gentle, murmuring secrets in a language older than light, promising that even in the heart of oblivion, peace can unfurl like a flower. As Sevyn touched down on the silty seafloor, clouds of fine grains rose to embrace him, muffling the world to a hush. Deep in the gloom, a rhythmic thumping echoed, a primordial drumbeat that vibrated in his bones, answering the call of his heart. The sound was ancient, as if the sea itself spoke in riddles older than memory. Despair threatened to drown him, but curiosity flickered, a stubborn ember. He fixed his resolve on the pulse, unwilling to let its mystery slip into silence. Sevyn cut through the cold, haunted water, drawn by the hypnotic thud beckoning him onward. Power simmered beneath his skin, yearning to break free if only he could reach the source.